Travel isn't just about seeing new places, it's about letting them change you. For me, that place was Vietnam. I arrived in Hanoi on a humid August evening, the air thick with the scent of street food and the buzz of mopeds. I felt excitement and a little fear. My goal, live, not just visit. The real story was in the smiles of the people, in the quiet moments of daily life. It was scary but thrilling, the start of a journey that would reshape my view of the world. Everywhere there was a story. This is the story of that unfolding. And so my adventure began. My first real test was finding a place to live. No websites, no agents, just a smile and a simple Xin Chao. I wandered quiet alleys, buying coffee, watching daily life unfold. One day, Mrs. Lan invited me to sit beside her. With gestures and a translation app, I explained I wanted to rent a room and learn about Vietnamese life. Her family offered me a small, clean room for a fair price. It was more than a room, it was an invitation into their family. The children welcomed me, laughing and teaching me their world. My days found a new rhythm, waking to broth, helping at home, sharing meals. I was welcomed as one of their own. I was home, far from home, and I was grateful. The local market was the heartbeat of our neighborhood. It wasn't for tourists, it was daily life in motion. Each morning I joined Hoa to buy ingredients for her noodle shop. The market exploded with color and sound. Herbs, chilies, eggplants, live fish, clucking chickens. Chaos, but organized. Everyone had a role. Hoa taught me how to pick the freshest vegetables, which vendor had the best tofu, who sold the most fragrant rice. The market was more than a place to buy food. It was a social hub. Vendors knew their customers by name, asked about families, shared gossip. I started to recognize faces. The fruit seller saved the sweetest mango for me. The butcher nodded in greeting. I was no longer just a spectator, I was part of the scene. I learned about Vietnamese culture by watching. The importance of freshness, buying food for the day, nothing wasted. Food was more than fuel, it was medicine, celebration, love. Hoa selected each ingredient with care, balancing flavors and textures. One day, she let me bargain for tomatoes. I used my few Vietnamese words, pointed, smiled. The vendor laughed, gave me a fair price. It felt like a victory. I had connected. The market taught me that communication is about more than words. It's about respect, shared understanding, recognizing our common humanity, even when just buying tomatoes. The market was a classroom, and its lessons were delicious. Every trip was a new discovery. I learned to see the world through local eyes. I learned to appreciate the beauty in the everyday. The market became my window into Vietnamese life. It was vibrant, alive, and welcoming. I was grateful for every lesson, and every meal tasted better because of it. The market changed the way I saw food and people. Dinner with Mrs. Lan's family was sacred. The TV was off, phones put away. We gathered around a low table, sharing dishes and stories. There was always rice, a vegetable, a protein, and a clear soup, perfectly balanced. Eating together was a lesson in sharing and community. Elders were served first. Everyone took just enough for a few bites. Meals were slow, relaxed, filled with conversation. Min talked about work, Hoa about her customers, the children about school. They asked me about my home, fascinated by snow and tall buildings. One evening, Mrs. Lan noticed me struggling with chopsticks. She gently placed a piece of pork in my bowl, a simple gesture full of care. In that moment, I felt I belonged. I was part of their family circle. Food was the medium, but the message was love. A shared meal can break down any barrier, it's a universal language. I learned about the Vietnamese concept of ăn com, to eat rice, but also to share life, family, and togetherness. When someone asks, "ăn com chua?" they're checking on your well-being. Food is woven into the fabric of family and community. To share a meal is to share a piece of your life. Around that table, I learned that nourishment is for the soul as much as the body. These dinners changed me. They taught me the true meaning of hospitality. I was grateful for every meal and every moment. I was no longer a guest, I was family. My Vietnamese was basic, hello, thank you, count to 10. I couldn't have deep conversations, which was frustrating at first. But my lack of words forced me to listen more, to notice body language, tone, and smiles. The people I met were patient, never laughing at my mistakes, always encouraging me. One day, I asked for water in a full sentence. The shopkeeper's smile and joie quoi made me feel like I'd won a prize. It motivated me to keep learning. When my moped got a flat tire on a country road, a farmer saw my trouble. He didn't speak English, I barely spoke Vietnamese, but he understood. He led me to a repair shop, waited while my tire was fixed, and refused any payment. His kindness stunned me. This wasn't an isolated incident. I experienced selfless generosity again and again. Compassion is a universal language spoken from the heart. I learned that connection doesn't require words. It requires openness, patience, and kindness. Every act of help was a lesson in humanity. I was changed by these moments. I learned to give and to receive with gratitude. Vietnam taught me that the world is full of good people, and that kindness needs no translation. After months in Hanoi, I craved adventure, so I set out to ride the Ha Giang Loop. The legendary road wound through Vietnam's most spectacular mountains and valleys. The scenery was breathtaking: terraced rice paddies, deep canyons, turquoise rivers. The ride was tough, steep, twisting roads, moments of exhaustion. But it was about more than the views. It was about the people. In every village, I was greeted with waves and smiles. I stayed in family-run guest houses, sharing food and stories with my hosts. One afternoon, I met an elderly Hmong man at a mountain viewpoint. We sat in silence, sharing sugarcane and awe for the landscape. He had little, but shared what he had, a profound act of generosity. That moment transcended language and culture. I realized happiness isn't about possessions. It's about connection, generosity, and appreciating beauty. The Ha Giang Loop taught me to value small moments. It taught me that the richest experiences are often the simplest. I carried that lesson with me long after the ride ended. The mountains changed me, the people inspired me, and the journey became a part of who I am. Vietnam's north left an imprint on my soul. I was lucky to experience Tet, the Vietnamese Lunar New Year. It's the most important holiday, a time for family, renewal, and hope. The city buzzed with excitement. Markets overflowed with peach blossoms and kumquat trees. Homes were scrubbed clean for good luck. Mrs. Lan's family included me in every tradition. We made banh chung, sticky rice cakes wrapped in banana leaves, boiled for hours as we shared stories and laughter. On Tet's first day, Hanoi was peaceful. Everyone wore new clothes, visiting relatives and friends. I was welcomed into homes, given red envelopes of lucky money, treated as family. Experiencing Tet revealed the soul of Vietnam, the importance of family, tradition, and honoring ancestors. Rituals connected generations, creating a cycle of gratitude and hope. I learned that traditions are the glue of society, giving identity and belonging. Being part of Tet was a gift. It let me see beyond daily life and touch the cultural heart of the country. I felt honored, included, and deeply moved. Tet was more than a holiday. It was a window into Vietnam's spirit. It was a celebration of life, love, and renewal. I will never forget it. It changed the way I see tradition, and it made me feel truly at home. Leaving Vietnam was one of the hardest things I've ever done. Saying goodbye to Mrs. Lan's family felt like leaving my own. As my plane lifted off, I knew I wasn't the same person who'd arrived months before. Vietnam had changed me, slowed me down, opened my eyes, filled me with gratitude. My definition of wealth shifted. It wasn't about possessions, but about relationships, community, and kindness. I met people with little material wealth, but rich in love and generosity. True wealth is measured by the connections you make and the love you give. I learned to be present, to savor a cup of coffee, to listen, to enjoy a meal without distraction. Mindfulness became a precious gift. Life isn't a race, it's a journey to be savored, one moment at a time. Vietnam also taught me resilience. Despite hardship, the Vietnamese people are optimistic, joyful, and unbreakable. They find joy in simple things, work hard, love deeply, and face the future with hope. Their spirit inspired me. I realized we all have the strength to overcome challenges. We can choose to focus on beauty and goodness. Vietnam's lessons stayed with me. They changed how I live, how I love, and how I see the world. I left with a new perspective and a second family. I am forever grateful. Vietnam will always be a part of me. My journey through Vietnam was more than a trip. It was a transformation. The memories I carry aren't just of landscapes, but of warmth and belonging. I can still taste Hoa's pho, hear children's laughter, feel the kindness of strangers. These are the souvenirs I cherish. What makes Vietnam special isn't just the scenery or food, it's the people. Their hospitality, resilience, and open hearts make you feel part of their world. Joy is found in shared meals, simple conversations, quiet moments of understanding. This is Vietnam's true magic. It shares its soul with you. If you dream of travel, go with an open heart. Look beyond landmarks, seek local markets, learn a few words, smile, and accept invitations. The most meaningful experiences are unplanned moments of connection. Let yourself be changed by the places you go and the people you meet. Vietnam taught me the world is kind and beautiful if you look for it. The greatest treasures are the lessons and love you find. Vietnam's embrace is enduring, and it will always feel like coming home.